Business is starting to circulate about what teams are hoping to do, and the Orlando Magic are at the very top of that list. It is very clear what that team needs.
Yeah.
They need shooting.
They need shooters.
And a drastic amount of it. Jalen Suggs in his return to form and health will help them. It is not enough. We saw them shoot under 40% game after, and then just from three, from the field. As bad as the Rockets were shooting, the Orlando Magic were a travesty. And Jake Fisher and Mark Stein had this yesterday. As the new offseason beckons, another Trailblazers target has been increasingly projected as an Orlando Magic target. And he says another because during the Damian Lillard trade saga, as it were, and I know this to be true, both executives around the league and Damian Lillard's camp wondered if the Orlando Magic would get in. Like that was kind of as far as like the dark horse contenders in my conversations with people that were involved, the Spurs and the Magic were the dark horses, where Damian Lillard himself could see him playing for both those teams. Like that was that'd be interesting. Mm-hmm. Let's see which way those teams decide to go. Both teams have said, no, we're going to wait and kind of see how things settle with our young stars. And you're seeing this with the Orlando Magic, and I think you're going to see this with the Houston Rockets of like, okay, we kind of know what we are and we know who matters. For Houston, it's Amen Thompson and then everybody else. For the Orlando Magic right now, it's Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Jalen Suggs and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Fisher and Stein go, Lillard's backcourt mate, Anfernee Simons. The 25-year-old is an Orlando native, would certainly be blend in nicely from a timeline perspective. You'll recall that Simon's one of our four Blazers that we mentioned in a recent Around the League notebook, including Robert Williams III, DeAndre Ayton, and Matisse Thybulle, as players that are routinely posited by rival teams as potential trade candidates. I will say this entirely sourced. The Orlando Magic have called on Anfernee Simons before.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they have called this year, not just the post-trade deadline, but after the season ended. It's a natural fit in the sense of that. I just don't think the Portland Trailblazers are interested in what the Orlando Magic have to offer for Anfernee Simons.
So it's not Paolo Banchero or Franz Wagner?
No. And what you're probably looking at in return is one of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony Black, and a first-round pick. And that first-round pick is the Denver Nuggets' first-round pick. And if you don't know, the Denver Nuggets are still playing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
You're looking like the 24th, 22nd pick in this draft?
Because both these teams need shooters. And you mentioned Jalen Suggs isn't going to fix that. Like, Jalen Suggs this year was bad three-point shooter, and he has been bad in his career. On his career, averaged 33% three-point shooter.
He started to figure it out last year and then coming into this year, but the injury just completely derailed him.
This year, he shot 31% from three. Last year, he was 39%, which would put him, by the way, 40th in the NBA in three-point percentage at 39%.
39% though is a good number.
It's a good number, but 40th in the NBA for qualifying three-point shooters. Still not what gets you over the hump if you were the Orlando Magic. And coming off a significant injury, having 2 years prior to that where he was not a good shooter. Your world's probably somewhere in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. Guys, things can click, but this year he wasn't good either, even when he was healthy.
And it's a career 39% three-point shooter on insane volume.
Yes, and that's the other thing about Jalen Suggs. Volume, it was starting to get there, but he wasn't shooting. Like, he had the most volume this year of any other year, and his numbers went back down. The Blazers also need shooting.
Mm-hmm. Desperately.
That does not help anything for Portland to get shooting.
No, not at all.
And KCP, we know, is a fit guy.
And he had a very bad year for Denver, or for Orlando, after having very good years for LA and Denver. It could be a one-off year. It could be KCP kind of falling off the wagon, as it were, as a shooter, getting a little bit older, a little longer in the tooth. But as it stands right now, as the Blazers roster currently sits, I would be more surprised if they traded Anfernee Simons than if they gave him an extension.
Really?
Yes. Because he does one thing for this team, shooting and creating his own shot that nobody else in the team can do anywhere near his clip.
And that extension would be hefty.
Here's the thing. if you're talking about a 20-point per game starter in the NBA, which Ant is, he's right at that line, you're looking at paying that guy across the league $30 million.
Let somebody else do it.
Well, I mean, that's it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, any
Well, no,
that's
we know what you're saying.
non-rookie scale.
Yeah, but we know what you're saying.
Let
But
somebody else do it.
No.
I mean, not if he's going to walk and you're going to get nothing in return. But if you're going to get something in return that helps the team moving forward, then I mean, there shouldn't be like this. He's bolted down. They're not training Anfernee Simons.
I just don't think they would trade him unless they got somebody like that either in that deal or in another deal adjacent to it.
Yeah.
Because they are so bereft of shooting.
But there is also all of the conversations about multi-team deals and would it behoove the Blazers to get in on a multi-year deal where if Orlando or multi-team deal where Orlando wants Anfernee Simons, the Blazers have a piece that they want, and in like whether it's Banchero or Wagner's been the guy who's been kind of linked to Portland through several reports. But if it's like Franz Wagner comes to Portland in a three-way deal that sweetens the pot enough for Orlando to say, all right, fine, we'll take Ant from you, you get Wagner, and then whatever that third team gets something else in return to kind of sweeten the pot, and you make this move happen, hell yeah, you do it.
But I mean, if they do decide to re-up him rather than move him, doesn't that kind of recreate and reopen the whole, perhaps this Portland Trailblazers organization over covets their own pieces?
Because if Orlando is sitting there and saying he's Cole Anthony and KCP and I don't know who else you put in there.
Anthony Black in a first.
Anthony Black
in
a first.
The 2025 Denver first.
And that's what the market is for Anfernee Simons, then yeah, that is kind of Portland overvaluing and saying, well, we think that he's like Wagner type, right? And somebody else. And I'm not saying Portland thinks that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be keeping him, holding on to him, not making very many moves, and moves are all around the periphery, yeah, it kind of does feel that way.
I think it's a lot about fit more than anything else.
Yeah.
And then you take a look at and the numbers are going to start getting crazy for NBA guys. That's just the reality. Just as a point of reference, Emmanuel Quickley signed a $32.5 million deal with the Raptors. That's just under, on average value, under 20 or right at 20% of the cap. You know what Ant's at right now, or his deal was under the old CBA? 18.8%.
Yeah.
So it's almost the exact same rate.